geese landing right in the middle of 54th and Avalon or at Slauson and Compton, and to learn more about nature, to be able to take walks, to take hikes, to have a contemplative space for meditation, for yoga, for stretching, and just calming down. It's the opportunity, I think, for me to create a legacy and to bring amenities where there have been none in the past. Now, I think we have, did Greg send you photos?
I didn't get it.
Okay, well then let me.
To paint us a verbal picture.
Oh, I'll paint you a verbal. Greg's downstairs still trying to find a parking space. So, okay, so what this is, it is a bus yard. Nothing but gravel, concrete, hoists, a lot of sheet metal, a couple of historic buildings that are poured concrete and have been here since the creation of the yard. But basically, it's all gray, gravelly, dusty, and dirty, and not a tree in sight. And it's 9 acres. And it had a sign shop. It has a sign shop on there. And it's a light-duty vehicle repair center. It is across the street from an existing middle school and a new high school which is under construction. So there's going to be a lot of kids in the area. This particular site, I think most people would consider to be a blight. If you had to live across the street from it, you'd probably be very unhappy. And clearly it wasn't used to its greatest potential use. It's great size because it's almost 10 acres. It's contiguous, it's all connected. And if you know anything about South LA, you know how hard it is to find parcels of land this size, and usually they're pretty expensive to acquire. So I thought it was an ideal location once Juanita explained to me that it was my duty to do something about that. And if you knew her, she did it in her own special way. So, we did this and we're going to transform it. Now, the phase 1 of the park will have elements for passive recreation, like walking, cycling, photography, bird watching. And then phase 2 will have a rail museum because we want to honor the history of the site, and we also feel that that may be a way for us to create a pathway for getting additional funding. And then community meeting space. So we're going to keep one of the historic buildings, the poured concrete building. It's been through 2 major earthquakes and is still standing. It's in very good shape, and we thought that would be a way for us to kind of maximize and leverage our opportunity. And then we're going to have native trees, shrubs, marsh plants, and just all sorts of flora and fauna. Just as an aside, I'm also building a city hall. It'll be a Silver LEED certified city hall at 43rd and Central. And one of the things I'm looking forward to is having the garden on the roof. Now, again, California native plants. One of the reasons I did the garden on the roof is so that people could go outside at night and feel safe, because they'll be up above the street. And, for seniors, that's very important. I intend to also use it as an outdoor classroom with instructional signage in the garden. But from a technical standpoint, it's going to go a long way to advancing our citywide efforts for stormwater, healthy water, and so it has multiple uses. And I think you guys know about Propo, so I won't go through that again. It was a very interesting transaction because it was government-to-government sale, and we got it at a reasonable price, and the market has since had a major shift. But it certainly was worth it because MTA had a lawsuit that they wanted to settle, and we sought a community benefit in return for that settlement. And the outcome was the creation of a special use district, so that everything could be consolidated on their one site. They could vacate this site, and then they could put a sign next to the freeway so that people down at 54th and Avalon could have a park there. And the special use district, or the sign, I forgot what SUD stands for. Is going to be next to the freeway in an industrial area. And because of that, it was not opposed by any of the residents or businesses because it's in an industrial area. And thus ends my PowerPoint slide.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Handy when you have to remember an acronym to have the director of planning.
Yeah, that helps. That was good. I felt good about that.
Right. Okay. Great. Thank you, Jan. And now we're going to bounce back to the private side. And Bill, I have your slides next. So I'm going to tee that up, and Bill Whitty. Do you have a site plan?
For those of you who know LA, this is about a 5.5-acre site in Little Tokyo that was composed of 3 parcels that we assembled about 4+ years ago. So there's your timeline. It's immediately south of the New Otani Hotel, if it's still in fact called that, Jan. I
It's
guess
Kyoto Grand.
Oh, okay. See, I'm out of the
Same
loop.
difference.
And we did an interesting thing here, and this is an example. I'm just going to go quickly here because I'm going to talk about Santa Monica also.
Okay.
This is an example of one that I think was fairly expeditious. I know the theme is, you got to be patient. This one, I think, went very smoothly, but it's important to understand why. When we assembled this is in a redevelopment area. It's also in Councilwoman Perry's 9th district. And we decided, this counts as master planning in an urban setting. It's 5.5 acres. So we invited 3 different architects, including Thomas Cox. We offered them $15,000. We gave them kind of a scope and said, give us a site plan. Just a site plan, not design or anything else. We wanted to work with someone who understood the context, the urbanity, etc., and these guys were lucky enough to win. But we also asked the redevelopment agency staff to sit in with us, just as informal, not even advisors, just to listen in, make sure we weren't going off the rails anywhere. It was a very interesting and useful process. We then spent about 9 months having settled on a broad concept, working with the Little Tokyo community and the redevelopment agency, touching base periodically with Jan's office, but it was mostly about the community and trying to listen and not speak too much. And that process went fairly well. I'll touch in a moment on just a few of the planning concepts embedded in this. So by the time we got to the redevelopment commission for schematic design and site plan approval about 9 months later, the whole thing was, I don't want to say whisked through, but it was approved in 3 months, which for 5.5 acres, and in the middle of the city is pretty quick. But that would not have happened had we not listened to Jan's office, to the community, had Daniel not done a lot of his own legwork before he even started working on it. Real quickly, because you can see in the middle, we have cut through a private street. It's actually a public street but privately owned. The narrow street, Gail and I were talking about this before, how, narrow streets, that wasn't downtown LA in recent decades. It was all about the car. That street also, if you cross to the right, connects to the Japanese Village Plaza. So this is a pretty coherent neighborhood. We tried to integrate into the neighborhood and not stand apart from it. On each of the 2 top corners, there are public plazas planned, which will also carry a lot of signage and landscaping that the community felt was appropriate to maintain sort of the integrity of the Little Tokyo neighborhood. Each of 4 parcels, A, B, and C, starting in the left upper corner and going counterclockwise, are 65-foot Type 3 wood frame construction, multifamily residential with retail ringing the streets. Parcel D, the largest, has a public parking garage and a 22-story high-rise. That was viewed as the strongest corner, the one intersection that could handle, and in fact might even wanted, some modulation of height upward. We have next slide. This is a rendering. This is actually finished, but our photographer is asleep at the switch. So you get the rendering, but it's not a bad job. 231 units, 20% low income, financed with tax-exempt bonds, like a lot of our projects, mixed income and mixed use, 70,000 square feet of retail on the ground floor. We just signed our first lease for a restaurant. We're very happy about that. Just opened, just leasing up right now, and at least lease-up-wise, doing very well. It's a tough time in the market, but it's doing very well. And again, this was a fairly, I'd like to say, oh my God, there was that 3-year hiatus, but this one went really pretty well. other than opening at this time of the